Welcome to Black and Gold Today, brought to you by Ray Brandt Infinity. I'm Rachel Whittaker. Well, 7-9 is gone for the New Orleans Saints as the 2015 schedule has been released. The fifth easiest schedule awaits for the Saints, who missed the playoffs and have their eyes on bigger things. So let's break it down now with Saints beat writer Evan Woodbery. Evan, nice to see you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing great. Well, in your second season with us, the Saints begin at Arizona, a 3 o'clock kickoff. They've got Carson Palmer back under center. The Cardinals had some quarterback issues, injuries late in the season, and a fierce defense led by Patrick Peterson. So this is a good test right away.
Yeah, I think it will be a real true road test going against the 2014 playoff team. And it's interesting. I mean, we had a discussion about what would be the best team for the Saints to open with, and there are some fans that said to get an easy win under their belts, a Tennessee Titans or Jacksonville Jaguars or somebody like that. But then other fans wanted to see a real test to kind of see where the Saints stood. And I think this is kind of a good compromise in that the Cardinals are a playoff team. They're going to have some challenges in 2015, but the Saints are going on the road in a tough opening week environment.
Right, two of those first three games are going to be on the road. So similar to last year when they didn't open the season at home until week 3. But again, 3 primetime games. There were 5 last year, so I know some Saints fans probably not too happy about that number. But Dallas, Atlanta, and Detroit are at home, and that dreaded Thursday night game is hosting the Falcons. The Drew Brees, I know, remembers his 5 interception game at Atlanta a few years back. So, Evan, which of these might be the toughest?
Well, I think the Falcons one stands out just because it is going to be on short rest. But even if you remember last year, I think really the Saints' most complete game of the year was Thursday night at Carolina, even though they had the shortest rest of any point during the year. So as much was made of the lack of rest and the quick turnaround, and I think that was a legitimate issue, the Saints actually played really well on Thursday night. And the other issue is that all 3 of these primetime games are going to be at the Superdome. And although last year didn't work out that way, historically the Saints have been extremely tough to beat at home in primetime games. Really one of the top teams in the NFL in home primetime games, which is one of the reasons last year's struggles were so strange. But I think, I think that's something that stands out, is that although there are only 3 primetime, 1 Thursday, 1 Sunday, 1 Monday, they're all going to be at home.
Right, and they face Atlanta in prime time, as we mentioned, for the 9th time in the past 11 seasons. Always a crowd pleaser. And the Cowboys, it's really, in the past 2 years, been feast or famine for both teams in prime time. The Saints losing big to Dallas last year and beating the Cowboys big in 2013, of course. And, Evan, they're really going to be desperate to win back home turf. I mean, pitiful 5-game slide at the Dome last season. I mean, that just came out of nowhere. Nobody saw that coming, right?
I think it was absolutely stunning, and I think the Cowboys game will be an important test as well, because that was last year's game at Dallas was the first game in which the Saints, people started really thinking, well, maybe this team isn't all that it's cracked up to be. That was a really bad loss on the road at Dallas. Dallas looks to be very good again in 2015, and I think that will be a real important game for the Saints coming in week 4 of the season.
Right, so we see some challenges on this 5th easiest schedule in the NFL, and you see it rolling there on the bottom of the screen, so take notes, Saints fans, and when we come back, we'll look more at the strength of schedule.
Am I missing a deadline? Will I get there in time? Am I going too fast? Did I close the garage door? Stay in your lane. I don't think I sent that email. I should make a reservation. I thought it was clear. Okay, brake. I didn't see that coming.
Its instinct to protect leaves you free to drive.
Welcome back. Something else that stuck out, there are really no cold weather games that could really be a threat. I mean, Washington later in the season, but overall not that much.
Yeah, actually I went back and looked at some of the historic average temperatures for game day, and it's incredible how warm weather season this is going to be for the Saints. The coldest one, like you mentioned, will be at the Washington Redskins, and the average high that day is in the 60s. So if you're like me and you don't like cold weather much, this is a great schedule. But even beyond that, for the Saints, historically, they're an indoor team, they're a passing-oriented team, they're an offense-oriented team. Teams like that generally don't fare as well in cold or freezing temperatures. So, this schedule sets up very nicely for them.
Right, absolutely. For fans, too, planning road trips, for most games, you won't need to pack the heavy coats. So good news right there. And so a lot to be excited about for the Saints in this schedule. It really is a lot of games very winnable. Maybe some playoff implications on the line in Week 17 when they end the season at Atlanta. So, again, we'll be talking much more about this. I mean, Evan, we could really talk about this for an hour, right?
Yeah, and we'll have chats all week, and I think that'll be a main topic of conversation about what this schedule means for the Saints in 2015. And I think some fans are probably a little more optimistic after seeing this on paper now.
No doubt about that. Well, thanks so much for the time, and we'll talk to you again soon, Evan.
All right, thank you.
And thanks again for watching, everybody. Tune in later this week when we'll hit the road to Atlanta and Carolina. See you then.